Yay! Welcome everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Oh my gosh, happy Love Day
I
every
completely.
day.
Today's Valentine's Day. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I know, I forgot too. And I love how I didn't know what year it was until yesterday. So
Oh,
it's perfect, you know?
yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
hmm
Too obvious that it's just now.
Yeah, just the beloved.
The one that can't be seen, imagining being seen.
Mm.
Imagining seeing, being seen.
Words are so fun.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what we're here for, the story, the words, the playground.
It's so funny how thoughts are believed so innocently, and then suddenly there can be a noticing that thoughts are blind,
Mm.
thoughts are deaf. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, thoughts aren't conscious. You are the consciousness from which it appears and disappears. And it can be even logical if you're aware of the body, you're not the body. If you're aware of the thoughts, you're prior to the thought, you precede it. If you're aware of the mind, you're the source of the mind.
Mhm.
I love it. And how could any of this exist without you? Like even this screen, how could it appear without you being aware of it? You know, it wouldn't appear to exist. You are the source. It relies on you.
It's fun to play in this world and not take it so seriously.
Hmm.
And, and just there's a sense of freedom in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't take yourself seriously anymore.
And if you do, you laugh, you know, funny.
Yeah, Michael, thoughts are like a broken record. They're just repeating what they've heard. But you said thoughts can't hear, so.
Yeah, and what you resist persists, so it'll be habitual and keep coming up until you don't resist it, and then it disappears and doesn't come back.
Well, in a way, Jen, it's kind of what you're talking about when you talk about neutralizing it. Once it's really truly grokked that the thought has no ability to see or hear,
Hmm.
it's basically just information like anything else. It's a thing. It's not conscious. You are.
Yeah.
It neutralizes on its own, Michael. It just
Yeah.
once it's seen. Yeah.
Yeah, once you're aware of it, that's like the absolute seeing itself in the mirror. Because if you're aware of it, then you're the source of it. You precede it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think what I was pointing at is there can be a belief. Leela and I were talking yesterday about believing the thoughts are us.
Mm.
And when it's seen that the thoughts can't, they're not conscious. They don't know anything. They only know what they know. Like they're almost like a report, like a flash on a screen. That's it. They're
Yeah.
static.
Yeah, they're harmless. They're powerless.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I recognized I've never even had a thought.
Yeah. I've never thought.
Mm.
So it turns out thoughts aren't the bad guys.
Mm-mm.
They're completely neutral.
Interest falls when it's seen that I am the thinker is a thought.
Hmm. Yeah, you're not thinking thoughts. And you're the source of all of this, like kind of like looking in the VR headset. You're the one wearing the headset. You're outside of the illusion looking in, at this beautiful dream that you're dreaming, and you're not even in it. You're not in the illusion that's in the headset. You're not even in the body. You're dreaming the body, bodies, characters, and you as the source, as the invisible, infinite, formless, noumenal, like in deep sleep where you're all alone, you're singular. You can't see yourself. But through this illusion, this imagining what you're not, is form, is body, is qualities, you can see yourself. You would have to have that, the illusion of two. Since you're singular, you'd have to have the illusion of two to see yourself as one.
Mm.
Which is so cool. It's so beautiful. And the pure awareness, like whatever you give rise to, whatever you're paying attention to, you become, you're creating, so you can easily get lost in the dream or the thought, or like paying attention to the thought, is like
Yeah, and it
giving
works.
that's yeah, it's like giving your sentience to the thought, which the thought's not alive. It's just an object of attention that's
Yeah.
illusion. It's not real. But then that, giving it power by projecting your sentience to the thought, that's,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that it was seen here that it works the opposite as well. So if your attention, instead of going to thought, turns within, so to say,
mm-hmm.
goes back, turns around on itself, that
Mm-hmm.
that can become more and more. So like you said, what you give attention to,
Yeah,
so if you when you give self your
yeah,
attention, then the fire begins to burn brighter.
yeah, that's the absolute seeing itself in the mirror. It's like the mirror turns around itself, the absolute, when you're aware of being aware. And then you can see that nothing would appear without you being aware. It is you as awareness. So everything's God.
Yeah, I was sharing with a friend last night. For me, it almost felt like I I don't know if this individual was he was making a point, but for him, but for me, I said, well, okay, so there's no beingness. Well, I need to communicate through words. I can call it the wind. Okay, let's call it the wind. But I said that there's a sense of feeling. I mean, there's a sense of I'm going to call it beingness. There is a sense felt of beingness when walking through this apartment or walking in the terminal or walking in the park. It, like what you were saying, it turns on itself, and there is a difference between that sense felt of beingness as opposed to being identified with thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
This is just so still and not no attachment, just raw I want to say me, but not me. It's just this rawness, walking, doing its thing, seeing thoughts arise, but not really, you know, just, and the body keeps doing what the body is doing. And there is an experiential feeling to this. I mean, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I can feel that. I can feel that there it's, and I keep saying, because I find this true for me, that it's just diametrically opposed. Thoughts are diametrically opposed to beingness, or silence, or the wind, whatever you want to call this. Right back here, I don't know what to call it, but there is a sense felt of it, and
Mhm.
that's the non-attachment to things outside of it. It's just
Hmm.
more of a walking allowance, if you will, just all right, it's all good, it's just
Mhm.
full and peaceful and
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like watching a movie that you've never seen before. You're not in the movie. You're entertained by it. And it's so simple, this misidentification, because this pure felt sense of aliveness, of sentience, of I exist, I am, without story, this without thought, this just pure beingness, that's um, wearing the headset, got lost in the headset because it saw the avatar, it was aware of the avatar and identified as it. So that's where the subject object came in. And that's where the thoughts are separate from me, happening to me. They're scary, and then, which is how you played hide and seek with yourself, because how else would you have gotten lost in the dream or identified in the headset? You'd have to have all of these distractions too, and it takes a lot of effort to keep identifying as what you're not, because it's too obvious what you are. And so
Mhm.
the silence is the truth, is where all the answers are, where the wisdom is. So that's that constant paying attention to thought just kept you, you know, identifying with the character, which I realized when it was getting too obvious, I realized I was postponing it. I wanted to keep identifying as the character. And it was kind of exciting and fun to, being on the edge of that, where it's like, I know that I'm not, but this is fun.
mm, yeah, I can identify. I could relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when the thoughts come up. Um, am I there yet?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, because
Mm-hmm.
you can't, it doesn't mean anything. And then you're like, oh, that's how everything falls apart. It,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it just can't be believed anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Right. And you can't predict that. Like that's not what you wanted. That wasn't what you were imagining was.
Mm-mm. And then there's laughter.
Mm-hmm. And then you're like, wait a minute, it's always been this. What, what was obscuring it? How weird.
But like it really is like the cosmic joke because you really are tricking yourself.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, and then you see that it was so playful and it was
Mhm.
fun
Heck
being
yeah.
lost. I mean, it didn't feel great. It felt heavy and
Yeah.
dense, but
Mm.
there's freedom for that too to arise.
Yeah. And when you're in being aware, you can tell that you were never affected by anything that happened. Nothing ever happened. And then it's like you're invincible.
Mm.
You can never die. You're what's always here, despite all the changing, unreliable characters on the screen in the movie, that are born and die and appear and disappear, and all the transient, finite sensations, which this is all sensory experience. It's all mental. So just like wearing the VR headset, on a roller coaster, it elicits those feelings, those sensations, but it's not really happening. So that's all there is perceiving sensations. It's sensual. It's making love to being every sensation. What is it like to be?
Mhm. Yeah, it's now I see what they mean when they say pure.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jeffrey Dahmer is pure.
Yeah. And you can't have Jeffrey Dahmer without that famous vegan that has a show on eating raw vegetables. It's like you can't have that without a cannibal.
Right. Or somebody who a breatharian who breathes and
Yeah.
they get their substance that way.
Oh yeah, that might be the opposite of Jeffrey.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
how does a breatharian go on a diet?
I was just trying to think of the most ridiculous stat I've ever heard, but
Yeah, it's so fun. Like God has a sense of humor. Like that's what cracks me up. Look around.
yeah.
I know, it's hilarious. All of it is.
Oh yeah.
Laughing and crying have now both become like my friends. Like I
Yeah,
feel good if I have a good cry, and I feel good if I have a good laugh. They're both the same.
beautiful.
Yeah. To be
Mm.
fully encased in it, just fully in it.
Yeah, making love to it. It's all allowed.
Yeah, only God would take 40 years to get to the punchline.
That's awesome.
Oh.
And you wanted it.
Oh yeah.
And all those experience, those so-called
That was easy.
Oh, sorry.
Matt.
Sorry. Sorry. Sorry to
Guys,
interrupt.
it's too
Sorry,
easy.
Andrew.
It's too
Go
That's
easy.
ahead.
okay.
Apologies.
I apologize for Michael.
It's too easy. Too already done.
Oh, see, it's
What were you
already.
saying?
No, no, I was just saying that, looking back at the past of all the seeming catastrophes and issues and dramas that happened with this body or people, you know, it's still here. Like it didn't, it never killed the spirit. It's still here. Nothing. Not
Yeah.
yet, you know? Uh, it's so neat to see that it just doesn't exist
I
anymore.
know.
It never did.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's like being born every timeless moment.
yeah.
Nothing happened before this, like clean slate. And even there's so much profound, like the clue is everything. The clue is literally everything. Like even the clue of the lungs, of the bellows of the breath, the in and out. There's a birth and death every moment. It's like clean slate, born again.
As above, so below.
Yeah.
And I had this insight this morning with when sometimes I still doodle eyes with a
Mm,
vortex to it. Where this comes from, I don't really know, but maybe that vortex, it's going warp speed, is like a metaphor for just done, 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 gone, 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 gone. Everything is just being
hmm.
dismantled. You know,
Yeah.
that warp speed, that
Mm.
vision that I would see for many years with the eye opening and closing, and then the vortex going through.
That is so cool. I
Yeah.
love that because it's the Taurus too. And it's just infinite. It's one, making love to itself, one self awareness.
Hmm.
I had a friend from Colorado message this morning that he had a similar vision when he had his awakening, of a third eye with the Taurus and the so that's so fucking cool that yeah. I mean, I'm obsessed with the eye. I have it all over my house and everywhere, like because it's the eye that can't see itself because it is itself, singular, one. The seer is the seen.
Me
Oh,
too.
wow.
Wow.
Look,
Oh, look
Wow.
at that. Could
it's
put
my
that
look.
again, Rena. Let me see that eye. That is beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my logo.
Yay.
Because the kingdom is within you.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, when I was doing LSD, I thought, I was doing it because I thought it would help me wake up, but I saw the eye and the triangle and like infinite fractals of that eye and triangle,
Hmm.
like all the time, every time I would trip. And I was like, there's like an archetypal energy with this. And I loved
Hmm.
it so much. I was like, I'm going to use it for my logo. And I don't, I'll steal it from the Illuminati. They don't own it.
You are the Illuminati. That's
Right.
awesome. How cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw the ones that Jack posted of NASA taking pictures of the nebula with the toroidal field around it with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
all-seeing eye.
That's what Sailor Bob talks about is it's all energy. Everything is just energy. It's all energy vibrating.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, all resonance. And infinite meaning, empty potential can be anything, appearing as everything, anything. So it's whatever meaning you give it, which is malleable and changeable, and it's all resonance. So resonating is being, is feeling. So resonating on being infinite, limitless renders the evidence.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's kind of what I was talking about in my recent video was that place of suspended tension, where you ask a question, but you don't fill the space with an answer. And that sort of brutal, honest looking, um, that's where that existential fear can come up. And
Hmm.
it's sort of just like, for me, it was a desperation and just I tried everything else. So I finally just stopped and really just investigated with all my senses, um, expecting an answer to appear or something like that. But uh, it's just a resonance of already and all inclusivity.
Hmm.
I feel
Beautiful.
like that's a pregnant place for that resonance to sort of be born.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and an example is would be like the question, how do you know that you're the mind? Okay? How do you know that you're the mind? What we're pointing at is don't go to mind for the answer. Keep that space pregnant.
Hmm.
Just stay with that mystery, the stillness. That's that's it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And you can notice that if you really, really just notice, you can see that, oh, there's a dissociation. It's sort of like a habit. And the reason why that's happening is because I feel uncomfortable. It comforts me to have controlling thoughts, to fantasize that, I am in control. So we can leave that space open and begin to really feel for the first time what it feels like to be out of control.
Mm. And the question, how do I know I'm not the mind? I think that's just another distraction as well that's arising. That's just a thought. So what am I without? How do I know there's not a mind? What's in between that? Absolutely nothing.
Hmm. And what's aware of the mind
Absolutely nothing.
precedes the mind. That's the absolute seeing itself. It's like, oh, snap. That was
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too easy. Without a thought, it's too easy. That's why I was distracting myself with thoughts to not see that silence between thoughts and what's always there and never leaves.
Yeah.
And Jen, when I hear you say too easy, what pops up in here is already.
Yeah,
Mhm.
already done.
Yeah.
Like Sailor Bob says, already cognized, just recognized. So it's like already self evident, already realized, already
Hmm. Hmm.
He
this pure aliveness, this beingness.
he's funny. Have you guys heard Sailor Bob? That guy was pretty funny. Like, 'cause he was pointing out, like, you know, like, well, you're aware of the sandwich, so you're not the sandwich. You're aware of your car, so you're not your car.
Isn't
You're,
that cute how that can go unquestioned like half your life? And it's like, what? That's even logical. What the hell?
Or your whole life. Yeah.
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 But you never think to apply that to your body or your mind. And
Yeah.
that's sort of when it all begins to fall apart because you
Hmm.
realize, oh, I never realized that my body is something that I'm aware of, just like I
Hmm.
am a toaster.
Yeah, and the longer I stayed in that, the mirror turned around on itself, the absolute seeing
Mhm.
itself. The more I stayed there, the more it swallowed everything. And so
Yeah.
that it's very obvious that, you know,
That's
this is the absolute.
that's when you're fucking around and you're about to find out, you know. But I had a insight, I guess you could say, recently where uh I was just thinking about the debate of process versus no process and all the arguments that come up in the community. Um, it all feels, to me, all inclusive, and I don't feel the need to demonize any way of talking about this. I could go listen to Muji right now and just enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
but
Hmm.
Era said, awake and asleep are both in the dream. And I was like, yeah, that's what I mean when I say this is very practical because it's already whole and complete. But
Hmm.
whether it's recognized or not, that can be an event, a dream event. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and anything that happens in the dream is subject to subject and object. So, yeah, this can be pursued, this can be longed for, and this can be seen. And it can be spoken of as a process. I mean,
Hmm.
um, that shouldn't be demonized to me. I
No
mean,
way.
it is demonized, and I was there too. I had to go through that place
Hmm.
of
Some people
negating.
resent that, or I don't know.
Hmm.
But I see it as so beautiful. So I call it the love story. I loved the process. Holy shit. It's like I was literally on my knees screaming. I mean, just like it was excruciating. And how beautiful is that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's what you wanted. You wanted this imagined story. And without reference to memory, nothing would make sense. I mean, it's like this single frame that nothing happened before this is
Hmm.
timeless without that memory, which is just immediate information arising now,
Hmm.
which makes it appear like a gradual story is what you wanted.
Yeah, delusion is functional.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I know your names and everything. I can refer to you, but it can cross a line, and it can place knowledge on a pedestal and worship it, and worship the idea that I am. That's when it becomes neurotic, which is natural. I mean, innocent. We all do it, uh, unless we have a developmental disorder or something like that.
And that's just you worshiping yourself. And what's so funny is like literally this imagine sitting in a room by yourself in the corner talking to yourself. That's what this is.
It's so psychotic. I mean, in a good way.
Mhm. I mean, this is all one mind. It's just one
Mhm.
God imagining this, talking to itself, imagining, having imaginary friends, just like when you were little playing house. And I remember having dolls and cooking dinner for my imaginary husband, and that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
lucky me.
Cute.
Yeah.
we can be sister wives.
Yeah.
Start that commune.
Michael's
Yeah,
an-
I
Michael's
remember
Angels. Yay.
Michael's Angels.
playing roles as a child. I would be the mommy, and my brother would be the horse, and I would ride on him.
Oh, that's cute.
We started imitating the people around us. So isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
A young child, I guess, getting geared up to
Oh,
play
I
in
know.
this world and believe in it.
Oh
Ooh.
gosh, yeah. Get ready to get lost in your dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's innocent. The mimicry starts when the baby's just as soon as it's born, basically,
Hmm.
it begins to on the cognizing of what's going on begins to register. And so you can now I see the innocence of it. It
Mm.
has no choice.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, your parents told you you were a person and told you were born and you believed it. And I love what Nisargadatta said, did your parents create you or did you create them? Dun,
Mm.
dun, dun.
Right. Right.
But yeah, Michael, I love that. It just became choiceless. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a identity crisis,
Mhm.
but I mean, I wouldn't call it a crisis, but it feels like when you see through it, there's you can you can recognize like unconditional love. Like
Hmm.
it's almost the substance of reality, you know.
Mm.
Hmm.
Just to give it a name, but it feels like compassion.
Mhm. Seeing through it through unconditional love, and then it's deeper. It's not personalized.
Hmm.
It's that, yeah, absolutely.
And it's all you is the infinite.
It's
Mm.
all you, boo.
Yeah, all you do. So then you're in love with all of it. You're in love with, yeah, even the sensation of being annoyed. There's ecstasy in that, you know.
Yeah, yeah, there is.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe we could go into that because I remember as a seeker that would not have made sense how annoyance could be ecstasy. So
Jealousy came up here too, anger. But yeah, my
I just think it's worth going into because on the surface, annoyance, sure the hell feels like annoyance from one perspective.
mm,
But when it's not labeled, when it's that unknowing, when it's fresh, what is this?
Hmm.
This. Then
Like
it,
a child, yeah.
yeah, it becomes like an inquiry. Like you get, wow,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, when I recognized that, oh my God, I'm not the avatar. I'm not the character. Oh my God, I'm God dreaming this. I'm everything. I'm everything in the dream. And it was like this instant in loveness, and I wanted to hug everything. And then it was like every sound was shimmering. It was like just even a single word was the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard. And then like walking or breathing, or it was just all shimmering, you know, because it's all, you know, God breathing itself, like sensually making love to itself through this sensory experience of beingness and appearing as every sensation, even the sensation of pain. So pleasure and pain is the same. It's all ecstasy. It's all bliss. It's all you that are aware of it are completely unaffected by it. You know, like a child, you're just looking in the headset like, oh my God, this is cool. What is this? You know, like even if there's pain. And it's when there's no meaning to it, it's infinite meaning. So it's any meaning you give it that basically blesses everything as God. You know, it's only harmful if you label it that.
mm,
So
Mm.
it's all resonance. You render the evidence per resonance. So like if you label it harmful or poisonous, you know, the imagination can playfully, you know, render evidence of that through the confirmation bias or whatever. So it's all placebo. It's all malleable and changeable. Yeah. And all of this is just one perceiving sensation. So it's just harmless and playful and beautiful. So that feeling of being annoyed is not personal. It's just a spontaneous, magical, sensation appearing in you. Is pure consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful, Jen. Yeah, it's noticing that you didn't create it. You didn't bring it, so you're not going to be taking it away.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
that's beautiful. There,
Mm-hmm.
like that's the too simple.
Yeah. And also when what you resist persists because you're all of it. And so if you're resisting it, it'll keep coming up until you welcome it home. So like when you feel it without thought, it's just like the homecoming, like you're welcome. I noticed that with even depression, when I didn't resist it and it was welcome, it never came back. So
Mm.
it's like what you resist persists because it all wants to come home. Yeah.
Some would argue that the opposite of that is this too. Yeah. It's that too.
Hmm.
And yet for me here, there is an impulse to move toward the resistance, or not really move, but just to allow it to just come. So there's
Hmm.
like an automatic impulse to just seep into it, seep into
Hmm.
the anger arise and just be with it, and just watch it, and
Well, that's the homecoming. Yeah. That's
Hmm.
it. Hmm.
That's why if you spiritual bypass, which just means trying to go around emotions to get to some imagined finish line, um,
mm,
you're going to be mean and being for a while there.
Yeah, that's the persistence. Yeah, because there's resistance still.
mhm.
When everything's welcome, it's allowed. It's just allowed to be, that's when it's free. It's like all the kids on the playground can play. They're not being
Yeah.
bullied or left out.
Yeah. So that's why it doesn't feel good to reject any part of yourself.
It's
Mm-hmm.
fast. It falls away on its own. I noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like last night, there was some frustration. I was like, it was almost disorienting because I didn't, there was no story to it. There was no story, guys, to this frustration. So it was just arising and
Yeah.
just be not answering the phone or anything. Just it's like, wow. And then it was gone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because you didn't identify with it. It's so amazing. That's it.
When we say when it's allowed, blah blah blah. Well, when I was a seeker, I heard that as, oh, okay, I need to go allow this. That's what I'll do. I'll allow. I went and read a book about letting go, and it's completely heard wrong. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, not wrong, but we sort of have to go through that to see that, oh, that's not what they're talking about. Because look, this is already allowed. See?
Hmm.
It's that
Yeah.
simple.
Exactly. And trying to allow it, trying to let go was resisting letting go.
Like, who's trying?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying an effort appears to hide, yeah, that it is already, which is already anyway.
I feel like noticing is the lazy path.
Yeah.
Notice.
Yeah, it is easy. Yeah, that's the mirror, the seeing yourself.
Yeah, and I like the way you worded it, Leela, the grace of futility.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So that's a stopper. Like that, in a way, that's what gets you to that pregnant place. You're so frustrated, you have no way to turn, you can't even see straight. So you
Yeah.
just get quiet.
Yeah, the only thing that got me there was desperation, which
Yeah,
is a
that's
gift. It was a gift.
hmm yeah, that like that post that I just made was speaking to that. Like, no matter what's appearing to happen, even if it's earnestness or vigilance or obsession or, like hardcore seeking or whatever, it's all resonating on what's already resonating. So
Mhm.
it's just like a radio station turning you on that radio station that is already.
Mm.
So nothing's wrong with any of it. Yeah. It's
Mm.
all you, it's all God waking itself up from the dream without anyone doing it.
Yeah, it's so much more simpler than trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's prior to the strategies.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Completely.
there's something romantic about, like we've all talked about not wanting to see this, prolonging the story. Jen, you were talking earlier about, I think, we distract ourselves with
Mm-hmm.
problems, things to do. And in a way that's so beautiful, right? It's like romantic. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it wants to keep the love affair of duality going as long as possible because
I
it's,
know. That's what it is, the love story.
Mhm.
Because that's what you want. What were you going to say, Indira?
I forgot.
Oh.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But after thoughts are seen through, to me, it's not some magical thing that happens. I mean, everything's already magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thoughts are magic. All of it is just is you as God. It's all the absolute.
Yeah, and the dream continues to function
Mm-hmm.
effortlessly as it always has. Mhm.
Yeah, you don't even have to have thoughts. You can go all day without thoughts, and the um, body just does itself. Like that time, I went 4 months without a thought. I couldn't tell if I was having a thought or not. There was no thoughts. I tried to have a fear. I tried to have something. It wasn't happening. So, and the body was, it was seen that it was just like automated, like the Shakti, the power of Shakti, of the illusion of the dream is just doing itself.
Yeah.
The body's functioning.
and I just wanted to say it's very ordinary. Sometimes when we talk, it can sound lofty, but
Mhm.
no, it's just the computer monitor, the keyboard, the sound of my voice. It's just this right here, very simple.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it all appears so unique. It's like I remember grasping onto someone's story and being like, "Oh, I guess it needs to be like that." So I won't know until I experience that or whatever. But it's infinite experience. It's infinite ways. It's infinite sensations. It's
Yeah.
like not one way. Yeah,
Everything's the fucking way.
everything. Yes.
To
That's
quote
the
Jenny.
t-shirt.
Yeah, I wanted to say every way is the goddamn way. What the
Yeah.
hell? Whenever someone would say it was just one way and that one other way was wrong, I'd be like, like the alarm system was like, hell no. It's
I can
every
see
way.
for here it took and there's still a deepening happening. The body there is it takes some time for the system. It's taking I know there's no such thing as time, but it has taken some time for the body to get used to this. In other words, even though it's always been here, there has always been um, so much association with thought that this was like ignored, and now there's seeing the thought and emotions that arise, and now it's also seeing this as
Mhm.
more
Hmm.
attention on, like Leela was saying, the sensations are much more riper.
Hmm.
Quiet, that quietness is riper, and It's just it's it's so the system was not used to that. And so there was some disorientation that happens at times because it's like, whoa, it's like, ooh, like back to here. But
Mm-hmm.
it's changed and yet it's not changed all at the same time.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to describe, but yeah, totally. That's very
Mhm.
good description.
Yeah, I love that.
I remember when interest fell in the thoughts because I saw that they weren't telling the truth. That's not
Mm-hmm.
where the truth is. Like, who would have ever suspected that? But um, and so there was an interest. So the thoughts were still going, but they were like a bird outside the window. They were off, like somebody else was talking, and I wasn't interested in the conversation.
Yeah.
So therefore, I wouldn't remember. I wasn't logging it at all. So I would be like, "Did I think today?"
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's like in the background that you can't even tell if it's happening or not.
And that's why it feels so fast here because there's
Mm.
more holding on to stories.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's like, wow, I'm here already. Wow, I'm across the
Yeah.
street. What happened between how did I get here? And I think I don't know, maybe it's because there's just no more landing and holding on to that landing, just
Mm-hmm.
more focus on it's just this more of this is here.
Yeah.
Immediate. Yeah.
Being,
Immediate.
yeah, just being without that resistance, it's just effortless. Everything's effortless. It's like just happening. Just like the dream at night, it's like doing itself.
Mm. Yeah. Time is psychological. And when the seeking fell and everything became very immediate, the continuum wasn't as obvious of time. I
Mm.
was like, I'm gonna be dead before I know it. Like it's somebody that doesn't have short-term memory or something, like a fish, like what is it, Dora the fish or whatever?
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Cute. Oh yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that when the film strip falls out and it's just the just the light or the and even just the single frame now, now, now and playfully the reference point to the film frame before, but it didn't happen and it's playful.
Mm.
Something about projecting into the future and thinking about the past like constantly made time feel slower. And then
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very flowy.
All set.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's such a relaxation because it just felt more fun. It's like, okay, cool, all right. It's like I don't know. Like you said, it's hard to put into words, but it's very experiential. Very
Hmm.
experiential. Yeah.
Hmm.
And there can be a in falling in loveness with the character. So
Mm.
Indira, the meing and being that you spoke about, meing and being, or I used to call it being in the washing machine. Um,
Hmm.
here now it's different. It's free to it was noticed that it can you can be clear as a bell one moment and completely lost in a thought the next for no reason. It doesn't need a reason. And when I was like suddenly okay with that,
Mm.
Mm.
resistance kind of, it was cool. It was like, all right. And then when you
Hmm.
come back, you're like, wow.
Yes, yes. Very, you just described. Yes, very well
That's,
said.
yeah,
Like,
that's very,
mm.
I feel like that's one of those things I wanted to say, and then you said it.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, because now it's just like, oh, this is what's happening.
Mm.
Now
Hmm.
this.
Yep.
Like it's completely futile. What are you gonna do about it? It's
Yeah, and it's all surprise. It's all fucking because I
Mm.
mean, who the hell knows what? What's going to happen in 1 minute from now? That's, it's like, it's all a surprise. It's all for fun.
Like so innocently, the knowing is what killed the fun.
Mm,
Just,
Mm.
innocently. Like you didn't know it. You weren't trying to kill the fun. But
mm,
now that I don't need to know, like I
Mm.
notice the body knows how to open up the front door and put the key in the lock. I don't have to know anything. It just seems to happen.
mm. Very well described. Yes, yes, yes. It's like being a child again. I have people ask me, "What are you going to do on your vacation?" I said, "I don't know.
Yeah.
Really not know what I'm going to do the next day, you know?"
Oh, I know. It's all a surprise. It's so spontaneous.
Yeah.
And then there's a plan and the body does the opposite. So it's like, yeah.
Mhm. It's like asking a child why they play.
Yeah. Why are you
Cool.
playing? I don't know.
They'll tell you because it's fun.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's the answer
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
to the meaning of the universe.
Yay. And like the look in the newborn's eyes without thought, that pure I am without thought, which is just this without thought. Because
Mhm.
even looking at the screen, even with eyes open, without thought, there's no objects, there's no there nothing can be divided or defined or anything. It's like this pure beingness that already is, from which everything appears and disappears. Can't be distinguished.
And I love how basically everything we're saying is poetic because it can't you can't pin it down. It's not in the symbols at all.
Mm-hmm.
Symbols basically obscure it. It's not.
Mm.
Yeah. It's using mind to point to that which is prior to mind, which is the source of the mind.
Yeah, well, Jen, I know you're a big Ramanov fan, and he used to talk about using a thorn to remove the
Mhm.
thorn, and then both thorns are thrown away.
Yeah, and I wrote about that. I wrote a little bit about that this morning too. Like, and I'll read it before we get off. You have to have the mind to see yourself because singular. How the fuck can you see yourself without imagining the opposite, imagining what you're not? So, okay, let me read this. Would anything appear to exist without you being aware of it? It depends on you. You are the source. The observed is the observer observing itself. Without the illusion of two, in parentheses, the object of awareness, without being aware of something, you can't experience oneness. Like in deep sleep, awareness all alone, not conscious of being aware, there would be no dream to wake up from, to recognize yourself as the absolute. You'd have to dream what you're not to know what you are. You want this dream to experience yourself. You can only know what you're not and only be what you are. Just like the analogy of the VR headset, you're not in the illusion, you're outside of it looking in, looking at it, like watching a movie in the movie theater. You're not in the movie, you're the source of it. You're God imagining this. What is it like to experience everything? What is it like to be everything? Beyond time and space, experiencing the illusion of time and space. This is a love song, that which the one beloved is serenading itself. All alone, you'd have to imagine two to experience yourself. I don't have a body. I don't have a name. But through these imagined qualities, I dance. The
Mm.
mind is the mirror from which the source of the mind sees itself. If you're aware of the mind, you precede it. You are the ancient primordial essence. And like in deep sleep, when you're all alone, how can you see yourself unless you imagine being conscious, dreaming what you're not, what you simultaneously are, is the one mind imagining. Like having a dream, dreaming a world, dreaming characters. How could it be separate from you? You're the one dreaming. What's being looked for is the one aware of the looking. you can't find because you are.
Mm.
that
That's
was that was while driving and talking and
Oh yeah. Yeah, listen to Jen. Oh yeah, that one just fell off when I was parking the
Wow.
car.
Yeah, that's
oh my
wow.
gosh, beautiful.
I remember listening to speakers as a seeker and just being like, oh my God, they're channeling the divine. And I mean, it still kind of feels like that, but that was beautiful.
Mm.
oh thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. You did it.
Right, right. Good job, me.
yeah.
Yay!
Everything's me. Yay. yeah, it's so cool because the illusion was just the avatar's me, but everything's me.
Mhm.
Yay! How fun.
Yeah, it's undivided without knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiration. Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
you don't throw knowing away either. It's practical. It's there for a reason.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
So this isn't black or white thinking. It's the still point of the pendulum,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And I love how there's, infinite definitions of knowing too, because I resonate with I mean Sri Ramana, all of them, and even in Sailor Bob, which is just all it's just us talking to ourselves. But like they would say, you are the knower that can't be known. You are the knowing principle, so you can't, you know,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
you're infinite.
I like
Yeah.
that way of talking about it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's so natural. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to remember a quote from A Course in Miracles that says that this is our true inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're just words, underneath it, I can feel what that is. I could just feel that. And it's just, this is the most natural thing that, I mean, it is. Uh, it's nothing like what the mind perceives this to be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Um, but it's not special either. Not special, and it's just going with the flow, but going with the flow without identification with thoughts, even though thoughts arise and emotions arise. So it's just like it's okay. Everything, like you said, Jenny, or Leela said one time, you can't make a mistake.
Mhm.
You just can't.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But we're free to imagine that there's such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember as a seeker, I would hear speakers talk about flow, and I was so jealous, man. I want to, I wanted to get out of my own way. Um, but I think that was more me wanting to see this, less me wanting to see it, and more a playful avoiding it. Uh, because flow doesn't have a one who is in flow.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a little scary.
Yeah, same
Mm-hmm.
here. It's like identified with thoughts that would say, well, you know, let go and let God, or live and let live. And how do I live? And I gotta live and I gotta let live. So there's an identification with I gotta, but the whole time
yeah.
it's happening. So it was just thoughts being identified with. That's it.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so there can be this seeking outside yourself for it in videos,
Mm-hmm.
books, teachers for a long time and never suspecting, never even a clue that what was looking, what was seeking was actually what you were looking for, but you
Hmm.
were like too mesmerized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and hearing that regurgitated as, jargon over and over and over, thinking that that's gonna somehow you'll get it if you just listen to it enough or something. But
Yeah,
uh,
all of it's a ritual. It's all witchcraft. It's all a ritual to resonate. Everything is. It's just is radio station like a
mhm, mhm.
resonance. So
Yeah,
even listening is like opening and resonating. So it's every way. So every ritual works everywhere because it's all God already awakened. So it's just recognizing what's obvious, and the effort appears to hide because it's implying it's a thought that's saying this isn't it, which is just a thought, because when
mm,
there's no thought,
yeah,
boom, you hit the target.
yeah. You don't go from effort to, or you don't, yeah, you don't go from effort to effortless. That's not what happens.
Yeah, it's already effortless. It's too effortless that trying appears to cover it up because it's just too already.
And
So
this is
then,
the effortlessness. This
yeah.
is it. And those are just those thoughts are just the distracting thoughts. We're always
Hmm. Yeah, that was the God playing hide and seek with itself. And what's so cool is what's being looked for is what's aware of the looking.
Yeah.
So you already are it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to thank you three because I love the way that you guys share. It just so resonates here. And I would recommend, like attracts like. If just by spending time with listening, doing these Zooms together, it- just to tell a story, there does seem to be a deepening and a more solidification of
Hmm.
this just by hanging around like-minded.
Yeah. That's
absolutely.
it. Yeah. On the radio station. Already done.
It feels like a celebration of that's it too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like when all our flames come together. So if you imagine each of us has a stick that's on fire, naturally, if you put all four of our sticks together, it's going to be one big huge flame. But even when we say goodbye to each other and go away, my flame will burn brighter from just
Hmm.
having spent this
Mhm.
time with you guys.
Oh,
Yay.
yeah, and that's the beauty of process.
Hmm.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, this dream is a process. That's what you want.
Demonizing process is process.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
mm,
Yeah. Even the uncompromising way that claims that it's not a way is a motherfucking way.
hmm. Yeah. I always wondered how radical non-duality speakers ordered a coffee.
That's
Like,
cute.
Leela apparently wants a coffee.
Yeah.
No, nobody talks like that in real life.
Yeah.
So playful, so much fun, and it's like available. There's something here now for whatever time this body has left that really like wants to enjoy every second of it. Like
Hmm.
everything I do, like I feel like there's something here that wants to have fun and be playful.
Yeah, it's precious. Every breath is, oh my gosh, a miracle. Everything's a miracle. And
You
that
know,
love for life. Yeah, that love for life.
well, it's sort of like okay, it's sort of like as far as seriousness goes, I paid my dues.
Totally.
Love
Hmm.
that. It's great. Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
We were so serious that we ran out of serious.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was laughing deliriously and having laughing attacks for, yeah,
I
to
remember,
compensate, to compensate.
right? I remember Angela saying the cosmic joke never gets old.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Like
Yeah,
a
and you can feel it. Like it's so funny. Like when I'm driving on the free, you can just feel the energy of the cars. You can, you
Mhm.
can feel the tension once they're all like wanting to get somewhere. And you know,
mm-hmm.
like just as a practical method, I tend to leave early. Just give, and it's so wonderful to have that extra time to let them, go. So like the stuff is practical. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not specific. It's universal.
Yeah. A sensory experience. God sensing being this, it's just amazing.
It knows, Jen, like you said, it
Mhm.
knows.
It knows. Yeah, it's intelligence. Yeah, it's just amazing. The mystery that's doing itself.
Indira, if we ever do a in-person retreat one day, are you gonna come?
I'd love to. How are
Yeah.
you gonna plan that? Where and you mean
We vaguely sort of said we will one day, and that's about it. But
I would love to. Would it be online or
I think
We were thinking,
we're gonna have an online one soon. We haven't set a date, right,
mhm.
Jenny?
I'd love
Yeah.
to come. I would love to come.
Yeah, we were thinking in person too one day, like the party, the live party.
Me too. Yeah, of course. I'm open. There's openness.
Yay.
We should all go to Canada and watch Emerson DJ and party.
Oh, wow. Is that where he lives?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's really
How
cool.
fun.
Yeah, I saw the one with Emerson and Sailor Bob yesterday. That was cool.
Oh my God, that was
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
What?
I've got to see that. Wow.
Cat.
Really?
Cat was like longingly smiling and staring at. She was like hanging on his every word. I was like, my God.
Every word on him.
Yeah, on him. I was
Yeah,
like,
she was hanging on him like it was
Who
so.
was? Who was?
Cat.
Cat
Oh,
was so in love with Sailor
my God.
Bob that it was like
Oh
a
my
Cat?
God.
crush. So beautiful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they have the best love story ever.
Who's this? I'm sorry.
His wife, Sailor Bob's wife, Kat.
Hmm.
Dude,
He had
she's got the dopest intros ever. She sums everything up. I fucking love it. So,
she had an interview with Emerson.
Yeah, yeah. Before Sailor Bob passed.
mm-hmm.
I gotta see that. What's her name?
Yeah,
Cat? CAT?
K. I think it's KAT.
K-A-T. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can put the link to that video in the description since we're talking about it.
Oh, thank
Cool.
you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are wonderful.
You're wonderful.
Yay. Mwah. Thank you guys. What a treat.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yes. Love you. Bye, guys.